Student A writes, direct data is collected for a specific purpose by the person who needs it. Student B writes, in the hospital monitoring system, direct data collection ensures real-time patient vitals are processed continuously by the specific sensors, solving the immediate need for immediate alerts. The clock is literally ticking down in the exam hall. I want you to really compare these two answers. Both of these students, they think they know the definition perfectly. They've both spent hours, probably way too late into the night, revising from the exact same textbook. Student A gives a completely standard, seemingly accurate textbook definition of direct data. But student B, they take that concept and apply it directly to a hospital monitoring system. They actually identify the exact hardware sensors and the exact processing consequence. So who actually earned the marks here? I want you to pause this explainer right now. Seriously challenge yourself. Predict which student just locked in their grade boundary and which one critically failed. Got your answer? Student A scored 0, absolutely 0 marks. Now, I know that's a painful reality shock, but the crazy thing is it happens every single year. Why? Because generic points almost never gain credit in the Cambridge Information Technology 9626 syllabus. A disconnected definition, no matter how technically accurate you might think it is simply not going to be enough to secure that top band when the examiner is desperately looking for applied understanding. And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates exactly why your ordinary revision is probably failing you. Think about it. Generic memorization yields incredibly low marks compared to applied context. Students frequently know the theory perfectly well, right? They have the flashcards memorized backwards and forwards, but they lose those precious hard-earned marks because they fail to anchor their explanation to the specific situation they've been given in the prompt. They treat data sources as just some disconnected definition, rather than an active, breathing process that solves a specific problem within a dynamic system design. In a moment, I'll show you the examiner clue that changes your IT answer completely, but first you need the framework that makes that clue obvious. Leaving this explainer now means missing the exact strategy you need to guarantee your hard-earned knowledge actually translates into marks on your paper. Okay, let's dive into this framework. We call it PEEL plus J. Point, evidence, explanation, link, and judgment. This right here is your ultimate quick win structure for those high-mark extended responses. You absolutely cannot just name a concept and move on. First, you state your point clearly. Then you provide evidence pulled directly from the given scenario. Next, you give a clear, logical sequence of explanation for exactly how the process works in reality. After that, you link it right back to the specific requirement of the question, and finally, you offer a judgment based on the scenario. This structure perfectly mirrors the exact way top band marks are earned in Cambridge exams. So let's see how this framework builds our understanding of direct data sources. We do not want to view this as some dry, isolated concept anymore. Ask yourself, what problem does it solve? What data or device is actively involved? Direct data is original data collected specifically for the problem it solves. It involves specific hardware, kind of like those hospital sensors we talked about earlier, and exact processing stages. When you identify the practical consequence for the user or the organization first, suddenly all this abstract terminology becomes incredibly meaningful and concrete. Now contrast that with indirect data sources. This is data collected for one purpose but used for another. But pay super close attention to the warning here, because this is huge. The theoretical foundations require really careful comparative thinking. A typical AS-level IT error happens when students confuse indirect data with nearby concepts. You must distinguish between direct and indirect data, just as you must clearly separate validation from verification or authentication from encryption. Dense revision notes require comparative thinking, not just single-topic memorization, if you want to survive the examiner's trickiest questions. Let's clinically dissect that winning top-band answer from our initial duel so you can see exactly how it executes the PEEL plus J framework flawlessly. Student B made their point about direct data. Their evidence, the hospital monitoring system. Their explanation detailed real-time patient vitals processed continuously by sensors. Then they linked it to solving the immediate need for immediate alerts, effectively passing judgment on its effectiveness for that specific scenario. See what they did? They didn't just list a bunch of undeveloped ideas, they built a cohesive, undeniable sequence of operations. So the absolute crucial takeaway is this: context is king. If the exam context is a payroll system, a secure website, a spreadsheet task, or some complex modeling scenario, your answer must stay within that context. Examiner-style performance depends entirely on your specificity. Failing to anchor your theoretical knowledge to the specific scenario provided is literally the #1 reason students drop from an A straight down to a C grade. Right now, I want to launch an interactive challenge for you. Think about a harder, typical Cambridge-style scenario. Mentally construct your own answer for this. Evaluate the use of indirect data sources in a new multimedia workflow. How would you apply Peel plus J here? What hardware is actually involved? What is the specific data? Where is it coming from? Take a moment to really picture your answer.
Okay, as you think about your answer, let's spot the errors you might have just made in your head. These are the classic wrong turns found in examiner reports year after year. Did you use vague wording? Or maybe you omitted the specific process steps of retrieving that media? Did you simply name a technique without explaining how it actually works in a workflow? Good revision notes don't just teach the correct pathway, they highlight these exact classic wrong turns to help you deliberately avoid them.
To prevent those errors, you need a highly reliable memory structure. Before you even think about walking into that examination room, you must be able to answer these 4 prompts out loud for any given topic. 1. What is it? 2. How does it work? 3. Where is it used? And 4. Why is it better or worse than an alternative in that specific situation? If you can confidently answer these 4 prompts aloud, your topic is actually ready for exam use. If you can't, you need to rebuild the topic from a worked example until it finally clicks.
But wait, there is still a massive trap waiting for you. Sure, Student B won our duel today, but check this out. What you think you did right, a beautifully structured Peel plus J answer, can still crash and burn. Why? Because of a fatal examiner flaw that ruins even the best structured answers: misinterpreting the command word. If the question specifically asks you to evaluate, but your perfect Peel plus J structure only describes, you will lose marks, no matter how amazing your context is. You have to correctly diagnose the core demand of the question, whether it's testing a process explanation, a comparative evaluation, or a practical software skill.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations.
You now have the ultimate framework to build a top-tier answer, but you are still highly vulnerable to that fatal command word flaw we just uncovered. You absolutely need to know exactly how to decode what the examiner is secretly asking you to do. Therefore, it is critical that you click through to our next explainer, IT 9626 Examiner Report Mistakes and How to Avoid Them. We are going to solve this fatal flaw together. Go ahead and start that explainer right now to secure your final grade. Because when you're sitting in that exam hall, it's not just about what you know, it's about knowing exactly how the examiner wants you to show it. So, are you ready to crack the code?